And we are back. Power Rankings, Week 8 edition. Starting out, as you see, staying the same is the 1-6 Browns, who ended up losing 21-14 to the Bengals. However, that score is a lot different than what it says. The Bengals dominated that game. The Browns just, made a late comeback and fell well short. Um, Another thing to note, though, is Deshaun Watson suffering a season-ending injury, which might honestly be a good thing for the Browns because I do believe Jameis Winston is a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson right now, and I do believe that the Browns, albeit injured, do have a good enough roster to maybe not salvage the season playoff wise, but I mean they could turn this around and be a respectable team. So yeah. Number 31, we have the Titans down a spot. They're 1-5. They fell 34-10 to the Bills. The only bright side is in the first quarter, the Titans looked amazing. I mean, they were holding the Bills, they were scoring. Honestly, looked like the Titans were going to win that game, and then the second quarter came around, and all hope was gone, it felt like. So, I mean, even for the Titans, who were playing a backup quarterback uh, against the Bills, were able to stay in it for one quarter. So, unfortunately, you need at least four in the NFL. So, yeah. Number 30, we had the Panthers. They're going to be going down a spot. They ended up falling 40-7 against the Commanders. And the only reason they're this spot is because I'm still holding on to that one win they got against the Raiders. Because ever since then, they have just fallen off a cliff again. And honestly, I don't think Andy Dalton is going to save your team anymore either. So I think you honestly should probably just throw Bryce Young back in there to see what else he has because you guys aren't competing. And there's no point in sending Bryce Young for a second season when he already played the first. 29, we had the Patriots down 2 spots. Kind of the same thing. They sucked against the Jaguars in London. It was like 30-15 or something like that. 32-16. And I'm just holding on to the first 2 weeks for the Patriots where they beat the Bengals and then they barely lost in overtime to the Seahawks. And ever since then, they have just not looked great. They're starting to look more like, the Patriots we were expecting to see going into this season. So, I mean, now that, those games are behind us by like 5 weeks, the Patriots are starting to drop down my list a bit. As you can see, they're in the gray territory. That's the worst you could be. 28, we have the Raiders staying the same. They kept it close, 20-15 against the Rams. Them going for the field goal on fourth down, though, with, low time remaining and banking on the defense was an interesting call. It did end up working because they got the stop, but, I mean, they weren't able to score after that. So, it's kind of one of those where the call doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you look at the score, but at the same time, it does. So, I'm sorry, Raiders. I don't know what to think of you right now. 27, we have the Jaguars up 4 spots. They finally get that win in London that they were looking for. And they looked like a really great team. This is something that we could be talking about if they're able to carry this momentum over outside of the seas. Yeah, I mean, they actually looked like a really great team that week. And like I said, if they're able to, pick up some wins, they do have some tough matchups coming up. The AFC is still very vulnerable, surprisingly, so I would not be surprised if, they were able to make something happen. Because the 7th seed in the AFC has 3 losses, so don't rule it out. 26, we have the Dolphins who are going to be staying the same. They ended up losing to the Colts. However, it was a very good game by their part compared to, their expectations without Tua. They were able to defensively hold the Colts to, not a lot. Offensively, they were able to keep up with that, which, like I said, isn't saying a lot. Considering, they only scored 16 points. So, I think when Tua comes back, we will be talking about a different team. Thankfully, like I said with the Jaguars, the AFC isn't looking the greatest right now. A bunch of teams having 3 or 4 losses. Dolphins being one of them. So they're still right in the playoffs. 25, we have the Giants. They're going to be going down a spot. They ended up losing 28-7, I want to say, or something like that, to the Eagles. In a game that honestly it was 28-3. Looked like it would be close because in the first half it was a low-scoring game. So you thought, oh, the Giants are actually going to potentially pull off an upset, and then same thing with the Titans and the Bills. The Eagles just pulled away immediately and never looked back, which kind of carries the same weight with the Titans. You're able to keep it close for like a short period of time, but unfortunately, you got to do it for 60 minutes, or at least get such a big lead that you can kind of coast the rest of the way. 24, we have the Jets down 2 spots. This is not something I think we'd be talking about. The Jets have been just falling down the list. They end up losing 37-15 to the Steelers in a game where they were once up 15-6. So, yeah. Same exact thing. You're able to do well for a certain bit, but after that bit, you just kind of throw it away. You got to play good football the whole game if you want to, expect to win. And the Jets just didn't do that. 23, we have the Rams who are going up 2 spots. They pick up the win against the Raiders, 20-15. And same exact thing with them. The NFC isn't looking all too powerful right now. We're starting to see teams kind of show their true colors, unless you're in the NFC North, which have 4 of the top 5 teams. Their division, the Seahawks are leading at 4-3. The Rams, albeit 2-4, only have 4 losses, so they're only a game and a half out. So it is far from over for the Rams, and they look pretty good in that game, both sides of the ball. And that's without Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, so they're not even at their fullest yet. 22, we have the Saints down 3 spots. I don't know what's happened to them. They started out so hot, and now they fall yet again, this time 33-10 against the Broncos. And I think the Saints just had a really good 2-game stretch playing against, the Panthers, and then the Cowboys, who aren't looking great. So, maybe they just had a very easy start to the schedule, and now, they're starting to pick it up. They're starting to struggle. 21, we have the Colts. They're going to be staying the same. Even though you won, I'm not impressed with that win. The fact that you only won by 6 points and it was 16-10 and you played the Dolphins, who are without a starting quarterback. Yeah, I'm good. 20, we have the Cowboys staying the same. They're on a bye week. 19, we have the 49ers. They're going down 9 spots. They lost 28-18 or something like that to the Chiefs. In a game where both quarterbacks threw more interceptions than touchdowns. I don't think either of them threw a touchdown. I could be wrong, though. Which says a lot, because the fact that somehow the Chiefs were able to score 28 with that stat line is ridiculous, and the fact that the 49ers were able to score 18 with that stat line is ridiculous. So, I think it shows that the 49ers are heavily injured, and because of that, they're going down, but they also still do have that, slight bit of hope with, how good they can be when healthy, and, the fact that they're playing in the NFC West. Like I said, the Seahawks, 4-3. And they have the win over the Seahawks, so if they finish with the same record, right now they have the tiebreaker. 18, we have the Chargers down 4 spots. They ended up losing 17-15 or something like that to the Cardinals. This was a game that was really bad for both sides. It was a game of field goals, essentially, for the Chargers. And that was their downfall, was, rather than being able to put 7 or 6 on the board, they only put up 3. And, well, as you can see, the Cardinals didn't really have to score a whole lot of points to win the game, as 17 was enough. So, Chargers, you did a great job on defense. However, your offense kind of let you down this game. 17, we have the Cardinals going up 6 spots. We don't really even have to talk about them. We just talked about them. 16, we have the Bengals going up a spot. They're finally getting into the groove of things. They're up to 3-4 now after their win against the Browns. However, I'm still not 100% convinced because, it was the Browns. They are the last team on my power rankings for a reason. So only winning by 7, albeit, the Browns inflated that score, so it really should be like 21-7. I'm still not convinced because, you have 4 losses for a reason. 15, we have the Falcons down 9 spots. 14, we have the Seahawks up 4 spots. The Seahawks beat the Falcons, and it wasn't really close. 34-14. Now, I'm still high on the Falcons because they do have an impressive resume. It just looks like this was a game they kind of just fell victim to. And the Seahawks, quite the opposite. I was about to write them off. And they finally pick up a much-needed win after starting out 3-0, following the 3-3. They're back above 500. And what a win to do it. 3-score win against what I had last week as a top 10 team. Very good. 13, we had the Buccaneers down 5 spots. This is not something I thought I'd be talking about either. As their game against the Ravens, 41-31, inflated. They were down big, and they just kind of got lucky with an onside kick and were able to score. But they suffer some injuries. Mike Evans, I know, got injured. I don't think his is, bad. I know he missed the rest of the game because I had him on fantasy, and that sucked. Chris Godwin got injured with like 10 seconds left while down 10. Don't know why you still have him out there. And it sounds like he could potentially have either a very long injury or a season-ending one. So for the Buccaneers, they're kind of in the same situation as the 49ers now, where they have a great team and a great roster, great coaches, all of that. In a division and conference they're still well competing in. But they're just getting injured the more and more we go on. So, yeah. 12, we have the Steelers up 4 spots. 37-15 went over the Jets. They're starting to look really good. Russell Wilson getting to start looking like a very smart move, although I still don't understand why you would do that. But now it makes a bit more sense. I do think the Steelers have a really great defense, and I do think Russell Wilson, that offense, did make him look better in the past game. However, they do lack that mobility now. They still have it because Russell Wilson is mobile, but he is up there in age, so I don't know how often they are going to use him. So, for now, great win, Steelers, but I don't know what the future is going to look like because now I feel like with how well Russ did, but Justin Fields putting the Steelers in this situation, we're going to have quarterback controversy, which I do think will affect their play. 11, we had the Broncos up 4 spots. Nice win over the Saints. However, I'm still not 100% sold on you guys. You're 1 away from the top 10. So, you're right there. You just got to get it done. And, well, I don't know if you're going to get it. I feel like I said, I'm still not sold. I still think you guys aren't the greatest team, and I think you just had a great 7-game start. But I'm starting to get on the ship. It's just 1 foot in, 1 foot out. The ship hasn't left the dock yet, Number 10, we got the Bears up 2 spots. They had a bye week. Number 9, we had the Bills up 4 spots after their dominant win. And the thing I'm starting to notice with the Bills is they are either winning these games very impressively or they are losing in the most comical, embarrassing ways. Because you see their record. 5-2, that's a very good record. However, I don't think they've really beaten anyone of mentioning that I can remember. And then the teams they've lost to have been games they, were in a position to win while doing horrible. So, if anything, it's showing that the Bills, even when they have one of their worst games, are still competing. However, what I'm noticing is these worst games are starting to happen a bit more frequently. So, I do believe that it's kind of one of those where it honestly is just going to depend on a coin flip. Number 8, we have the Eagles up 3 spots. They pick up a nice win over the Giants. And, well, there's nothing else to really say. I didn't see a whole lot of that game. I just know it was, as a saying is going around right now, belt to ass, after that first half. 7, we have the Texans. 6, we have the Packers. Texans staying the same. Packers up 3 spots. The Packers win 24-22. And this is a game that I obviously watched. I'm a Packers fan. It was a really good game. It was one of those where teams were trading back and forth. However, I feel like the Packers honestly should have won that game 9 times out of 10. The Texans shot themselves, the Packers shot themselves in the foot. That was the only reason I feel like it was really close. It's because the Packers kept making mistakes. 2 interceptions for Jordan Love, while Stroud has 0, is obviously going to do that. And then, well, the muff punt also didn't help. But the Packers were able to get it done for the first time in a long time. I feel like they finally had a kicker finish perfect on a day. So, yeah, I'm very happy about that. Number 5, we have the Commanders staying the same. They did get their win 40-7. They dominated. The only concern is Jaden Daniels did get injured, so that does warrant some issue. The bright side is they look capable with Marcus Mariota. However, it was against the Panthers, so I don't know how much credibility he's going to have. So, for the Commanders, I still like you guys even with Mariota, but I would like you guys a bit more with Jaden Daniels. Before we got the Ravens staying the same, they dominated their game. I mean, everyone scored touchdowns, it felt like, and I mean, Derrick Henry was Derrick Henry. Lamar Jackson shown like he might be the MVP again. And that's all there really is to say. I mean, they looked great. 3, we had the Lions down a spot. 2, we had 3 Vikings down a spot. 2 Lions up a spot as 31-29. The Lions knock off the Vikings, giving them their first loss. And this game was amazing because you had the Lions come out to an early lead. The Vikings come back, and then the Lions legit doing just enough to win because they were up 28-10 or something. And they ended up falling behind 29-28 and kicked the game winner with like 15 seconds to spare. So I think that's coasting and the negative side of it, because sometimes teams get a free score lead and they get comfortable. And then next thing you know, here comes the other team running back. And, well, yeah. Thankfully for the Lions, though, they were able to get it under control and kick that game winner. And at number 1, we have the Chiefs. I mean, they're the only undefeated team. They somehow managed to win with Mahomes having a horrible game. So, that's just the Chiefs being the Chiefs, I guess. Even on their worst days, they still win somehow. But that is going to do it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I did. I will see you guys next time with predictions. Goodbye. Hope you enjoyed.